Friday. Glad you all could join me. We're going to start our Pilates Matwork sitting down on our mat first. To prepare you, we're going to want to have your mat lined up so you can see your screen, probably horizontally aligned for now, so you're facing your screen and the lengths of the mat are off to your sides. If you'd like a towel roll or a little cushion for your knees for when we're on hands and knees later, go ahead and grab that now. And once you have them, we're going to take a cross-legged seat on your mat. Try to get the weight right over the front of those sit bones so that when we come up nice and tall with a vertically aligned trunk, we're resting our center of gravity over our sit bones. If cross-leg doesn't feel great to you, you are welcome to have your feet out in front. A little bit farther apart, probably line up with the shoulders is going to give you a nice base of support here. So find a position that's working best for you. Get that weight centered right over the front of your sit bones, whether those legs are crossed or uncrossed. And we will take our hands down by our sides. We're going to touch our fingertips lightly to the mat, just off to the sides of our trunk. Let's take a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Inhale through your nose. This time, let's take those arms up and overhead. And as we exhale, we'll bring our arms down by our sides. Again, big breath in, arms come up and overhead. From here, let's clasp our palms, reach them up toward the ceiling, straightening out those elbows as best we can. And with that belly gently drawn down toward our spine, we're going to move from just above the belly button and take a little side bend. We're reaching those hands diagonally toward that top corner of the room. Inhale, arms up to the center. Exhale, let's side bend the other way. Inhale up and exhale, side bend. Let's take it side to side at your own speed through a range of motion that's working for you as you try to keep those sit bones on the floor and those shoulders drawn down. If your elbows bend a little bit as you go, that's okay. We're going to sway side to side one more time. Let's take our arms up to the ceiling, and again, we'll bring them down by our sides. Once those fingertips touch the floor, let's roll our shoulders back in circles for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. And let's make our way to a lengthwise position. We're going to turn ourselves to our sides. Feet are going to line up with our sit bones. So those knees and hips will be a little bit apart from each other. Knees, feet, and hips aligned. We're going to take our hands to our sides and walk ourselves back until we're lying down on that mat. We're going to try to get the back of the head, the middle back, and the sacrum, the lowest part of your spine, touching that floor. If your low back is not touching the floor, that's okay. We can have a little curve in the back. We can have a little curve in the neck. We can use our core muscle to support those curves. We're going to point our toes directly forward toward the wall in front of us. And we're going to take our hands and flatten them, put the palms flat against the floor. And again, let's take a big breath in through our nose and a big breath out through our mouths. As we exhale, we're going to draw the belly down toward the spine gently, like we're tightening a seatbelt of muscles between the belly button and that pubic bone. Holding them right down there, let's nod the chin toward the neck, feeling the back of the neck gently lengthen into the floor while keeping that middle back pressed into the mat. Now we're going to picture a clock face on our trunk. 12 o'clock's up by the breastbone, 6 o'clock's down by the pubic bone, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on either side. Okay. From here, keeping everything from the middle back nice and up, nice and still, we're going to rock toward 12 o'clock. Pubic bone is going to shorten up toward our breastbone, letting us flatten that back against the floor. And then we're going to reverse that curve, lengthening the pubic bone away from that breastbone toward the 6 o'clock position. Let's rock forward and back, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, keeping that middle back and the back of your head anchored into the floor. We'll rock 12 to 6 for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's bring ourselves back to neutral, keeping that belly supporting ourselves toward the spine. And we're going to rock that pelvis from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. The hip closest to the screen is going to rock down to the mat as that opposite hip rotates up toward the ceiling. You're pressing that foot farthest from your screen into the floor. And then we're going to rotate back to neutral and then rotate toward 9 o'clock. The hip closest to the screen comes up toward the ceiling as that opposite hip rotates toward the floor. Let's rock side to side, 3 to 9 at your own pace, with the goal of keeping those knees and thighs as still as possible, as parallel to each other as possible as our pelvis moves on that stable lower body. Let's rock 3 to 9 for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Finally, we'll bring ourselves right back to neutral. Take one more big breath in. Exhaling, we draw the belly down toward the spine again. Let's nod our chin and press those shoulder blades down into the mat. We're gonna bring one knee up to 90 degrees. Keep that belly drawn down. Let's float that leg back down. And then using those lower abdominals, see if you can use them to help you float your other knee up to 90 degrees and back down. Let's alternate here at our own speed, folding from that hip joint, bringing that shin up till it's parallel to the ground, and then controlling it back down to the floor. Let's alternate here for 4. Switch for 3. Switch for 2. Switch for 1. We're gonna hold that leg there. Maybe we draw that knee a little closer to the shoulder to keep that belly supported. We're gonna bring our other knee up to meet it in tabletop position. Shins are lined up with each other and parallel to the ceiling. Let's hold them there as we nod our chin one more time, a little closer to that neck. Let's take our hands to the front of our thighs. We're gently gonna press our hands and our thighs toward each other until we feel some muscle activity going on between those ribs and that pubic bone. Belly stays drawn down. We can always pull the knees a little closer to our shoulders as we press our hands into those thighs in order to get that core working a little bit more without strain on the back. We're gonna hold it here and breathe. Big breath in, big breath out. Again, big breath in, big breath out. Keep a breathing pattern that's working for you going here. So we're avoiding holding our breaths. We're gonna straighten and bend our knees. Find the range you can move your knees through while keeping that trunk nice and still. The back's not gonna arch or flatten any more than it already is. We'll wiggle those knees up and down. Here's 4. Wiggle for 3. Wiggle for 2. Last time, straighten those knees to the barrier, bend them back to tabletop. We're gonna keep them at tabletop or with those knees a little closer to the shoulders now. We'll take our hands down by our sides. We're gonna keep them hovered up off the floor about trunk height. And let's stretch those fingertips toward the wall in front of us. We're gonna stretch those fingers long past our toes, feeling the muscles under the armpits working to help support. We nod the chin, maybe we lift that head up a little bit. Hold it here. Lower the back of the head and then release. Nod and lift, lower and release. Let's keep that going, nod and lift, lower and release. One last time, nod and lift. Lower, let's maintain that chin nod, hold it there. And we're gonna pat our hands up and down like we're bouncing little tiny basketballs. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that breathing pattern going, keep those elbows nice and straight. And with the belly drawn down, maybe we straighten our knees up, bringing our feet toward the ceiling. Keep it going, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. We could nod the chin and lift the head. We can take it further by straightening those legs, reaching our feet toward where the wall and ceiling meet in front of us. Conversely, if we do need to take a step back, we stay at tabletop, or even bring a foot down to the mat for a little kickstand and some more support. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Keep that pattern going. We're gonna flip our palms up toward the ceiling and press that air up. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. One more, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Let's pause our hands. We're gonna pull those knees to tabletop from wherever they've been. We're gonna lower that upper body and head down to the mat, maintaining that chin nod. And keeping those knees at tabletop if we can. Let's flip our palms over, take those arms out at about 45 degrees from our trunk, and let's place those hands and that shoulders on the floor. We're gonna hold here, keeping that belly drawn down. And I want you to think about taking your collarbones and widening them away from the center of the body. That'll let you press the outer portion of your shoulder blades into the floor for a little more upper body stability. Keeping the belly down, we're gonna rock those knees gently from side to side, just enough that the bones in the back of the pelvis barely unweight from the floor. So our hips are staying down, those ribs are staying down, and both shoulder blades are pressed into the floor, so that breastbone is still facing directly up to the ceiling as we rock side to side. Let's keep that going here. Maybe we straighten our knees out. Find that barrier again. Maybe the knees are straight, maybe they stay bent. We'll take it side to side, using our hands to counterbalance what we're doing. Let's rock it side to side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We'll come right back to the center, knees to tabletop if they've been straight. We're gonna reach to the far knee, that knee farthest from your screen. We'll draw it into the chest, and let's extend that close leg out in front of us. We're gonna reach our toes toward the wall in front of us and hold them there. Let's keep our heads down and that chin nodded. Keeping that trunk nice and still, switch it up. We're gonna take our other knee in and press that knee that was just bent all the way out in front of us. Pull it in, press the opposite leg out. Let's keep that pattern going. Modifying a bit if you need to take pressure off your back by pressing that leg a little closer to the ceiling. Making it more challenging by pressing that leg a little closer to the floor, straight out in front of us, hovering our heel up off the mat. We're gonna switch it up here for 4. Maybe we raise our head. Switch for 3. Switch for 2. Switch for 1. We're gonna keep that close leg pulled into the screen. Our opposite leg is stretched out. If you'd like to lower your head, you're welcome to, or you're welcome to keep it lifted. And we're now gonna take that straight leg and draw it side to side. Make a nice horizontal line on that wall in front of you. Head is down or up. Let's switch it up. Let's take that leg and move it in circles. That straight leg is drawing circles on the wall in front of us. Let's take it in the other direction. Circle it here for 3, for 2, moving from that hip joint, and for 1. And we'll stretch that leg forward, big breath in. On the exhale, switch it up. Pull that straight leg in. Press the opposite leg out in front of us. Hold it there. And again, if you'd like to nod your chin, change your head position either by lifting or lowering it, you can. And we'll take that straight leg side to side, toward and away from that screen. Keep it going. And let's switch it up. Let's take that leg and move it in circles. Draw some circles on that wall in front of you. Circle it the other way. Keep those shoulders drawn down and back, whether the head is lifted or lowered. We'll make one more circle here. Hold it there. Stretch that toe out away from your bent knee. And we're going to lower that straight leg down to the mat. Try to get the back of the knee down as close to the floor as you can. Hold it there. We're going to hang on behind our thigh and stretch that leg up to the ceiling. Give your hamstrings a little stretch. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. Again, go to that barrier or that stretch point. We can flex and point our toes. We can make some little circles with our ankles. Let's pause that foot. Let's roll our shoulders back in circles. If you need to bend the knee to make that circle with your shoulders, that's okay. We'll do one more circle here, and then drawing that belly down, let's take our arms to the ceiling. We're going to use those lower abdominals, use them to help you lift and lower that leg that's on the floor. Raise it up and lift it down. Again, we could nod the chin and lift that head if you'd like. We'll do 2 more lifts here. Lower that foot. Let's bring the head down if it's been up. And that leg that's lifted up toward the ceiling, take it side to side. Draw that horizontal line on the ceiling. Keep the bones in the back of the pelvis anchored into the mat as you go. And let's make some circles on the ceiling. Stir that hip in its socket. Maybe we hover our supporting leg up to challenge those abdominals a little more. Pause it at the top and let's circle the other way. Draw those toes to the ceiling or those knees to the ceiling if that knee is bent. Last circle here, we'll pause that leg at the top. We can hold on behind our thigh again, roll those shoulders back and down. We're gonna gently kick your thigh into your hand for some support as we raise our other leg up. Switch the grip, and then kick that other thigh into your hand as we lower our new stretched out leg all the way to the back. Hold it there, we can flex and point. We can make some circles with that ankle joint. Let's pause and point those toes to the ceiling. We'll roll the shoulders back. Again, if that knee needs to bend a bit, that's okay. We'll anchor them to the floor. With that belly drawn down, let's take our arms to the ceiling. And we'll use those lower abs to help us lift and lower that supporting leg to and from the floor. Lift and lower. One more time, lift it up. Lower it down, and we'll take that stretching leg and move it side to side. Again, we're keeping the bones in the back of the pelvis nice and anchored to the floor. Maybe we hover that supporting leg as we move through some circles. Reach those toes and that knee to the ceiling. Pause that leg at the top, big breath in. Let's circle it the other way. Final 4 circles. Last 2. Last 1. Let's hang on behind our thigh. We'll roll our shoulders back and down. Kick that thigh into your hands, letting that chin nod toward the neck. We could lift the head up. We can lift the upper body up a little bit, and we're gonna move through our single straight leg stretches, scissoring those legs. One leg up, switch your grip, and the opposite leg comes down. Let's move through again at your own speed. We're gonna take it side to side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's bring both legs to the ceiling, hold on behind the thighs. We're gonna bend our knees back to tabletop, maybe a little shy with those knees pulled in closer to our chest. Let's bring that upper body down if it's been lifted. Hold it there, and let those feet relax. And now we can rock that body side to side a bit. Taking a couple breaths in and a couple breaths out. Let's take it right back to the middle. We're gonna roll those shoulders back and down. Take our arms down. Let's bring our knees back up to that 90-degree position, tabletop. We'll straighten our feet toward the ceiling, find that barrier, and we're gonna open our feet away from each other. Seeing if we can get a little bit of a stretch through those inner thighs. We'll open those legs up and then draw them together. If knees are bent, that's okay. We're focusing on drawing our knees together versus bringing those toes toward each other. Out and in, belly stays down. We could cross one foot and the other in front of the other, and out. Cross the other foot, open them up. Let's go here for 4. Open and close for 3. Cross them for 2. And cross them for 1. We're gonna bring those feet together and we'll make circles in opposite directions of each other. Belly stays down. Bones in the back of the pelvis stay nice and still and anchored into the mat. 2 more this direction. If your knees are bent, it might almost feel like a little breaststroke kick. Let's take it back to the center, breathe it in. Exhale, we'll circle the other way. Last 4. Here's 3. And 2. And 1. Nice job. We'll pull those knees back to tabletop. Flex up those feet to let them do something different. We can pull the knees a little closer and draw the belly down again. Let's bring our arms to the ceiling. Hold them there. We're going to drop our blades and then reach our blades to the ceiling. Try to maintain that tabletop with your knees. If you do need more support as the shoulder blades come down and up, you're welcome to have a kickstand foot down. Let's lower and lift those blades for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Now we'll anchor those blades down. Keep those feet nice and still, and we're going to open those arms up back overhead and then sweep them up to the ceiling. Draw them back overhead, sweep them up to the ceiling. Here's 4, and lift. Here's 3, and lift. Maybe we add a foot lowering, 1 or both. Lift them up. Last one, lower. Hold those feet right where they are. We're going to place our toes back down on the floor. Bring those heels a little bit apart from each other. And let's take those arms to the ceiling. Big breath in. And exhaling, we'll take them all the way down to the mat in front of us for a set of pelvic clocks. We'll go 12 to 6 again, releasing those abdominal muscles and those pelvic muscles. Forward and back, 12 to 6. Let's take ourselves back to neutral and keeping the knees as still as we can. Let's rock that pelvis from side to side. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. One more time in this direction. We'll take them right back to the middle. With our hands pressed down to the mat gently by our sides, let's inch our feet a little bit closer to those sit bones as we take a big breath in. Exhaling, drive your heels to the floor and lift that bottom up into bridge. We're gonna lift up as high as we can while maintaining the same curve in your spine that you had when you were on the floor. So we're not going for an arch or an overflexion here. We're just lifting up nice and still. Feel those glutes tighten. Feel the length through the front of the thighs. We're gonna hold that there, take a big breath in. Maintaining that length through the front of your thighs as best you can. Let's lower down to the mat. Big breath in at the bottom. Exhale, bridge it up. Let's take it down and up twice more. We'll lower and lift. Let's hold that bridge up at the top, and we're gonna go up and down on our toes. We'll lift our heels, keeping those hips lifted. Lower the heels. Lift the heels and lower. Keep that going. You'll notice there's a little more squeeze involved as those heels come down to maintain that height. Lift and lower for 4, for 3, maybe those arms come up for 2, and for 1. Hold them right up there. Take that big breath in. And on the exhale, we're gonna bring that upper body down to the mat. Release your glutes as that tailbone touches the floor. We'll bring our arms back down in front of us and let's rock those knees side to side briefly, giving those hip muscles a little bit of a chance to regain their strength. Moving those knees right back to the center. We're gonna inch our heels a little closer to our bottoms. Take a big breath in. Exhaling, that belly draws towards your spine and we press our heels down, rising back up into bridge. This time we're gonna keep our heels pressed into the floor, the bottom lifted. We're gonna take both knees away from each other, out to the side, but keep those toes pressed into the floor, even the big toe. Let's inhale, bring those knees toward each other again. Exhale, open them up. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, open, hips stay lifted. Inhale, center. Let's do 2 more here. Open, bring them together. Last one, open them up. Bring those knees together, breathe it in. Exhale, lower down, releasing those glutes as your tailbone touches the floor. Big breath in, big breath out, belly to spine, drive those heels down, lift back up into bridge. This time, we're only gonna move that leg closest to your screen. Everything else stays nice and still as that knee opens up to the side. We bring it back to the center. Opposite knee opens up out to the side. Press those toes into the floor. Inhale, center. Switch it up, take it to the side. Inhale to the center. Take it to the side. Inhale, center. We're gonna hold it here, big breath in. Exhale, bridging down, releasing the glutes at the bottom. Let's take those knees side to side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take everything back to the middle. We'll finish our bridges with a marching series. Let's take an inhale. Exhale, belly to spine, drive through those heels, lifting that bottom up. We're gonna progress to a march. We start with our hips lifted, and we lower one toward the floor and lift it back up, and then the other, and lift it up. Take it side to side at your own speed. And if you'd like to challenge this further, those glutes working one and then the other, we keep our hips nice and still and lift it to the ceiling, and we move to a march. Take a knee up and down, and then the other one up and down. Press strongly through those heels in order to avoid a cramp in your calf or your hamstring. And we're gonna switch them up here for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Let's press those feet into the floor, breathe it in again. Exhale, bridge it down. Once that tailbone touches the floor, let's release those glutes, rock our knees side to side. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. Bring those knees back to the center. We're gonna take our ankle farthest from the screen, cross it over to your opposite knee, draw that knee out to the side, and we can pull our leg up into that figure 4 stretch. We can hold on to it if you'd like. If that puts a strain on your back, keep your foot down on the floor. We'll hold for a breath, whether that foot's lifted or lowered. And then exhaling, let's take our foot down. We'll switch them up. Opposite ankle to the knee. Draw that knee out to the side. And we could lift up into our figure 4 stretch. Foot stays lifted or lowered, and we'll take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's lower those feet, unwind them, take them to the mat, and let's straighten out our legs, one or both. You decide. If you can control the curve in your back and not get any stress on the low back as those legs straighten, let's keep them as straight as you can. Arms come up to the ceiling. Again, if you need to bend the knees, that's okay. And we're gonna take our arms back overhead as far as we can with straight elbows. You will hit a stretch point or a resistance point where you might feel a stretch underneath your arms. Hold it there. And from here, we're gonna take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're gonna lower the chin down toward the neck, the breastbone and those lowest ribs toward the floor, the belly down toward the spine. Hold it there. And let's walk out our feet. We'll lift one foot up and down and then the other with the ultimate goal of keeping that pelvis nice and level. Those hip bones are pointing like headlights up to the ceiling, and they stay as still as you can keep them as we switch our legs up. Keeping those legs moving, let's bring our arms to the ceiling. Pause those feet at the floor. Take a big breath in, relax everything. And as we exhale, we'll take our arms down, bend up those knees, and we're gonna turn over to hands and knees. Once we're there, we'll line up our wrists and shoulders, knees and hips.
And we want to think about taking the crown of the head forward to the front of the room so that the back of the head, the middle back, and that sacrum are lined up with each other. We'll take our belly toward the spine, and we're going to take the arm closest to the screen. Open it to the side. Look over that shoulder if you can. Thread the needle. We'll take that arm through between your opposite arm and leg and look toward that wall. Inhaling, we'll take the arm up and out. Exhale and reach it through. Inhale up and out. Exhale and reach. One more time here. Inhale up and out. Exhale and reach. Let's come back up to hands and knees. Reset. And that opposite arm comes out to the side. We'll follow it up and then thread the needle, reach it through toward that screen. Inhale up and out. Press through the heel of your supporting hand. Thread it through. 2 more here. Up and out. Thread it through, pushing toward that hand. And last one. Inhale up and out. Exhale and thread. We'll come right back up to hands and knees with belly and spine drawn toward each other. Keeping those elbows straight, let's squeeze our shoulder blades back and together toward the spine and then press them forward toward the floor. Squeeze them back, press them forward. Squeeze and press. Keep that pattern going, and if you want to make it more challenging, keep your shoulders squared off toward the floor, but take one hand up to your thigh. Squeeze and press. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching hands. Opposite hand comes to your thigh. You are always welcome to be on all fours if that's easier for you to manage and to balance and to feel those muscles. And we'll squeeze and press through those blades for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take that second hand back down. We'll rock our bottom back toward our heels just to get off those wrists for a minute. Take a breath. And then as we breathe out, we'll make our way back to all fours. We're going to slide that leg farthest from the screen back behind us, stretch it out, and reach that opposite arm forward. Take it back to hands and knees and switch it up. Sometimes it's helpful to think about having something balanced in the small of your back as you go. We're using this exercise to practice controlling that trunk against rotation. Lots of things in life will come at us from one direction versus head on. So we're using our muscles here to try to be able to keep ourselves nice and still even as forces try to rotate that trunk. Let's alternate here for 4. Switch it up for 3. Switch for 2. Last one, we're going to hold that last one up in the air. See if you can hold it here and switch your arms. That leg stays back. We could come to the floor if you do need a little more balance. Assist. We're going to take that arm, reach it toward the wall in front of us. Switch it up to the other side. Shift the weight. Lift that leg, lift that arm if you can. We're going to do one more on each side. Shifting and lifting. And last one, shift. Belly stays pulled in. Lift that hand. Let's take our hand down. Let's take our knees down. We'll do another cat and cow here, or a cat and cow here. We didn't do those before. Curl it up, belly to the ceiling, look toward those thighs. Reverse that curve. 2 more here. Curl it up and reverse. Last one, curl it up. Reverse that curve. Take it right back to neutral, and we'll bring our arms down to the mat. We're going to come down onto our forearms. If your head needs a little more support, feel free to double a fist, one on top of the other, and rest that forehead there. We're going to try to keep our forearms lined up and parallel with each other as best they can. If they naturally come together and it doesn't feel good to bring them apart, that's okay to keep them together. We're going to start here. We're going to extend the leg farthest from the screen back behind the body. We're going to lift it up, stretch it to the side, take it back to the center, and lower it down. Lift, take it to the side, back to the center, and down. Lift, out to the side, center, and down. One more time. Lift, and out, and center. Touch it down. Now we're going to lift and hold, and bend and straighten our knee for a little hamstring curl. Bend and straighten. 2 more here. Heel to the bottom. Straighten it out. Last one, heel to the bottom. Straighten it out. Bend that knee. Keep it bent. And we're going to control the knee to the mat. and lift the bent knee up. Control it down, press it up. 2 more here. Press, lower, press and hold, pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that knee back down, and we'll switch sides. Big breath in, belly to spine, and we'll exhale, taking that opposite leg out, straightening the knee, lift it up, leg comes to the side, back to the center, lower it down. Lift and out, and center and down. Last 2. And down, last 1. Take it down, lift that leg up, hold your thighs still, bend and straighten. Heel to the bottom, straighten it out. 2 more. Last 1. Bend that knee up, and we're gonna control that bent knee down. Lift the bent knee up. Take it down, lift it up. 2 more times. Lower it down, lift and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that knee down. We're gonna bring our feet together, our knees apart. Take your bottom down towards your heels and walk those hands toward the front of your mat. Let's drop that forehead down. Drop those shoulder blades toward the floor. Big breath in. As we breathe out, we're gonna walk our hands toward that screen. Inhale. Breathe it out. Let's walk our hands the other direction. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Let's walk those hands forward. We're gonna come up nice and tall, and we're gonna make our way to a seated position, lined up lengthwise along our mat. Okay. Let's bring that bottom toward the center, maybe a little bit forward of the center of our mat. We're gonna try to keep our weight centered right over the front of our sit bones, just like we were when we started class. And this time we're gonna straighten our legs out a bit. If your hamstrings don't tend to have a lot of length, you're welcome to keep your knees bent. The biggest goal here is to keep that trunk, head, and neck wriggle. Okay, so you decide how straight you can get those knees, and we're gonna bring them out to the sides to each of the outer edges of our mat. So we have a narrow V. That belly's gonna stay drawn in. Again, if you feel like you can't draw your belly in without coming down really far behind you, bend those knees up a little bit more. We're gonna take our hands, lengthen those arms out, reaching your fingertips towards your middle 2 toes. Okay, so between your pinky and your big toe. Palms face in on each other, arms are in a little narrow V, belly stays drawn in. We're gonna breaststroke our arms. Just take them out to the sides and back in toward the body, drawing little circles with our hands. If you have a little more slack in the system you could take out, you are welcome to hinge forward as we sweep our arms in front of us and come up tall as those arms come out to the side. We'll breaststroke it through here for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We're gonna hold those arms out, lined up with our feet. Again, if you can hinge a bit, go ahead and do so. And we'll take our hands down to wherever they naturally rest on our legs. Okay, maybe our elbows can come down, maybe we can take it a little farther. I have very long arms, I don't expect you to touch your toes. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. We're gonna take our hands to that foot closest to your screen, and then open the arm closest to your screen out to the side. Hold it there, big breath in. Breathe it out. We're gonna sweep our hands back to that leg and through to the other one. Open up that opposite arm. Look over that shoulder if you can. Take it back to the middle. We're gonna go one more time on each side. Opening and closing. And last time on the other. We'll take those hands back to the middle, come up nice and tall and vertical. Bend those knees, shake those legs out a bit. And we're gonna keep those knees bent now. Heels again are lined up with our sit bones. We'll hold on behind our thighs like we're holding a beach ball. And then let's walk ourselves back to a little bit of an angle, keeping that belly drawn in. Hold it there. Let's flip it, taking our hands to the outsides of our knees. Elbows will start bent. We're gonna press our hands into our knees. And then slowly, let's see how far we can straighten those elbows. You wanna feel your abdominals working. If you feel your low back, don't straighten your elbows anymore. Maybe bend them up a little bit. We're gonna hold that position there. And let's open up the arm closest to that screen. Look straight ahead. Take that arm back to the middle. Press the hand into the knee as the opposite arm opens and shuts. We're working those side muscles here. We can get to those side muscles without twisting quite effectively. This is a really good one here. For 4. Switch for 3. Switch for 2. And switch for 1. Let's take those hands back to your shins. We'll come up nice and tall. We can do a couple of little seated cat-cows here. Moving to the back of those sit bones. And then back up tall. Let's take our hands down to the floor gently behind our bottoms, just a little bit. And if your wrists are tight, we can turn those elbows and those fingertips out toward our sides. We're going to keep our elbows as straight as we can and squeeze our shoulder blades together. And if you still have a little slack to take out of the system, you're welcome to wiggle your bottom forward. Again, this is going to depend on how much mobility you have in your wrists and your shoulders. So respect what limitations you have, and we'll gradually work on those. We're going to press that breastbone forward toward the wall and open it up toward the ceiling. We're looking straight ahead of us on a little diagonal toward the upward corner of the room. Hold it there. Take some breaths. You should feel your chest wall opening up and a little stretch through the tops of the arms, front of those arms, front of the shoulders. If you have a little more room to move, we could bring that bottom up. Wherever you are, we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, breathe it out. Big breath in. Exhale. Last one here, big breath in. Exhaling, let's lower that bottom down. Get off those wrists. Shake them out a bit. And let's come up to kneeling, facing our screen. If you'd like to roll your mat up to give yourself more padding or grab a towel, now's a good time for that. We're going to take our knees a little bit apart from each other, nice stable base. And we're going to take our hands to the front of our hips, both of them together. Hands are going to be right where your upper thighs fold into that pelvis. We're going to take our fingertips and poke those hips back. The bottom's going to come back, crown of the head comes forward. Little hinge through those hips, and then we'll come up nice and tall. We're keeping the curves in the back the same as they are when we're upright. So the back is relatively still as those hips move. Let's hinge forward and back one more time. We'll come up nice and tall, and we're going to take one leg and open it up out to the side. It can be slightly in front of your body. Square off those hips. And again, let's hinge. Let's take the body forward, take it up tall. We're going to do 2 more here. Find that inner thigh stretch. And for our last one here, we're going to take our hands to the floor. Just a little bit of pressure, not much through here. Let's open up the arm on the bent knee side. Close it back down to the mat. Open up the arm on the straight leg side. Let's do that once more to each. Take that second arm down, hands come back to the hip, come up nice and tall, arms out to the sides. Take a big breath in. As we breathe out, let's side bend. Maybe we can get that hand all the way to the floor. Maybe that other leg even reaches up. Let's take it up and over. Let's side bend, belly stays pulled in. Find the range you can control. Good. Let's come up nice and tall. We'll come back to our knees and switch it up to the other side. Hands stay on the hips. Big breath in, exhale, hinge forward, find that inner thigh stretch. Take it up tall. Hinge it forward. Take it up tall. One more hinge, take it forward. We're going to take our hands, place them lightly on the mat. Arm closest to the bent knee is going to open to the side. Close back down to the floor. Opposite arm opens. Closes back down. One more time on each. Last one. Let's take our hands back to our hips, come up nice and tall. We'll bring our arms out to the sides. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend toward that bent knee. Maybe that foot lifts. We'll take it up and over. One more time to each side. Side bend, reach that hand toward the corner. Take it up and over. Let's come back to our knees. We'll roll those shoulders back. Let's turn those palms so they face our screen and take the hands back behind the body. We're going to pulse our shoulders and pinkies toward each other. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a big breath in and exhale. Arms come down. Shake everything out a little bit. Tip the ear to a shoulder. Tip the other ear to the other shoulder. Take them right back to the middle. And let's make our way down to our side. We're going to rest on our side. We're going to go old school with our sideline exercises. Hands come down to the floor. Bottom knee stays down. Top knee lifts up and down. Little straight clamshells here. 2 more. Last one. Knees come down. We're going to take our feet up and down. Try to keep your trunk nice and still. Hold the feet together. Top knee comes up and down. This is like a best of series. Knees come down, feet come down. We're going to move that top leg up and down like a fire hydrant motion. Picture a little dog. 2 more. Hold it up at hip height. Hinge the knee forward toward the shoulder and bring that leg back. Hinge it forward, press it back. Last 2. Last 1. Press it back. We're going to straighten out that leg. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. 2 more here. It's okay for the bottom knee to be bent. Straighten that bottom leg out. Now we're going to glue those feet together and finish up with 8 up and down lifts, moving from that bottom leg. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Bend those knees up and pat your hip out. Nice job. We're going to press ourselves up and over to the other side. And we'll repeat. Rest that head on the lower arm, knees forward, heels lined up with that bottom. Bottom knee stays pressed down and that top knee is going to lift and lower. Keep those knees together. 2 more here. Lift and lower. Knees come down, feet lift up and down. Here's 3, 2. Hold them up there. Top knee again lifts up and down. 2, 3, and 4. Take them both down. And we'll lift that top leg up, fire hydrant lift and lower. Knee and foot lift and lower. 2 more. Last one. Bring that knee to hip height. Hinge it forward towards your shoulder. Press it toward the wall. Hinge. Draw it back. Last 2. Last 1. Press that leg back, straighten it out, and we're going to touch our toes down and up. There's 3. And 2, and 1. Lift it up, straighten that bottom leg out, and lift it up to meet the other thigh. Take them down and up. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. Take them down, bend up those knees, pat that hip out. Nice work. Let's roll to our backs. Hands are down by our sides, and we're going to take our knees and gently rock them toward your screen and away. Keep those hips on the floor. Keep that breastbone facing the ceiling. Let's bring our knees back up to the ceiling and we're going to cross one ankle over to the other knee. Maybe we pull up into that figure 4 stretch. We're going to take a deep breath, whether that foot is lifted or on the ground. And as we exhale, we'll release that leg. Unwind and do the other side. Cross it over. Maybe lift it up, take a breath. Exhale. Let's take our feet down, unwind. We're going to turn toward our screen. We're going to make our way up in standing, maybe through hands and knees. We can turn our toes under. We're going to bring our hands up to our knees. Press the weight to the feet and rise only once our weight is right over those ankle joints. And once we're up standing, get your bearings. We're going to finish with a little bit of balance. If you'd like to hold on to a wall, a countertop, or a chair back, go ahead and grab that now. We're going to start with our feet hip width apart. Line them up. We're going to shift the weight toward the toes and toward the heels. And then settle in that sweet spot right in the front of the ankle joints. Hold it nice and tall. Shift your weight to one side and we're going to place the other foot in front of it. We're going to stand heel to toe. If you'd like to make this harder, close your eyes. Make sure you have something nearby if you're not sure. Open up those eyes. Step to the side and we'll switch it up. Opposite foot comes forward. If and when you're ready, close those eyes. Open the eyes up. Let's take those feet to the side. We're going to step to the other leg again. And let's raise up into our single leg balance. We can hold here, or we can shift toward the toes and take it up and down. Keep the weight forward over the toes if you're lifting and lowering. Pause where you are. Let's step it out and switch feet. Find your center of balance over that ankle joint. Stand up on that one leg. Shift toward those toes, and then again, maybe we raise up and down. Keep the weight forward even as you lower. Let's take those feet down, shake them out, nice work. We'll finish with our feet a little wider than our shoulders, toes pointed out to the side, and soft knees. Let's take a big breath in. Let's take those arms all the way overhead. Reach those fingertips up. Inhale. As we exhale, we'll take our palms together and bring them in toward our center. And thank you guys for joining. I hope you have a fantastic Friday and weekend, and stay safe with all the smoke, and hope to see you all again soon. Thanks so much.
Mhm.